The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everybody and welcome to the More Enquiries from Your Website webinar. Can I just check you can hear me? In the go-to meeting taskbar you'll find a hand. If you could raise your hand just so I can check you can hear me loud and clear, that would be much appreciated. Thank you very much, Trevor. That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, everyone else. That's much appreciated. Great. Okay, I shall, without further ado, begin. The first thing I want to say is if you have any questions at any time, this is live, I'm here, I'm interactive, just type them into the questions box and I will get to them during an appropriate pause in proceedings. I will come along and I will answer them. And also, if you want me to look at your website, please type in your URL. If you want me to look at a competitor's website that you think is particularly good, put that in as well. Just put the word competitor before it so that I know it's one of your competition, and I can be a little more open and perhaps make you feel better, because most of the time when people say to me, oh, my competitor's website is brilliant, I wish my website was half as good as theirs, I can look at it and say, look, it looks like you've got that competitor paralysis going on. Their website isn't actually that good, and it's probably not doing as well as you think. I've gone through delegates today and just picked out a couple of websites to look at in case no one types their own in. If I do look at your website, it's not because I picked it out. I've literally picked some randomly. So please don't take it personally, and I promise to be nice. My advice is only there to do one thing, and that's to give you ideas to make your website work harder for you. So let's crack on. Let's go back a bit though. I'm going to tell you about Umuditom, which you always need to be thinking about if you're looking at your website. Everything I'm telling you today, and I won't go too much on about me because I know you're here to learn about what you can do for yourself. It's based on me having spent over £2 million advertising my own businesses. That's business to business and business to consumer, awful load of money online. And so it's based on everything I've learned from that. You know, the whole point of my advice is to give you to save you having to go through the pain of getting things wrong, which I've done time and time again. Because that's the thing about marketing any business. You've got to make mistakes or you're never going to make progress. And that's another part of paralysis that I see, that people try something, it didn't quite work, or someone said something about it that they didn't like, so they stopped doing it because they were worried about it upsetting people. So you've got to make some mistakes. So we're going to look at how you can generate more inquiries, how you can generate more clients from your inquiries, and more of both of the above. And someone's put a website in. Thank you for that. I'll come to that shortly. And so, yeah, a range of businesses online today. If you're getting traffic to your website, the tips I'm going to share with you will show you how to turn that traffic into business. Because the best thing you can do is not go out and spend more money on a brand new marketing initiative that gets more traffic to your website. The first place you have to spend money is on making your website convert better and get more leads to you. And yeah, you'll have seen the figures out there. The most commonly banded figure is that for every 100 visitors, 98 leave without doing anything. Well, I can tell you I've looked at hundreds of sets of analytics, and generally you'll find it's actually much worse than that. At least 99 people or more leave without taking any action. So if you can improve that, if you can change those figures, and instead of one person out of every 100, 2, 3 or 4 contact you, if your average client is worth £200, that's another £800 a month for you if they turn into business. So it's a dramatic way of improving your income, so that's why I spend so much time on it. The first thing I need to do, though, is give you a little test, which I hope you will remember because I use vivid pictures. And the idea is to make you think about types of marketing. And if you get approached by someone saying, look, advertise here, this is going to be the best investment for you, but you don't feel that it is, use this test of peacocks and elephants. Now, the peacock, when he wants to mate, fans his tail, looks beautiful, and he lets the lady come to him. This is attraction marketing. This is finding someone at the time that they're ready for you. The elephant, on the other hand, little less subtle, bit more forceful. He wants to mate, off he goes. That is interruption marketing, and your best example of interruption marketing would be TV advertising, newspapers, social media, where your primary purpose is to do something else, and then an advert gets put in your face and it's trying to stop you doing that primary purpose and do something else. You're much better off going for peacock marketing, which is things like Google AdWords, search engine marketing, where someone says, I need someone for this service, goes onto your website, finds it, and takes action and gets in touch with you. So always remember the attraction versus interaction marketing. Think peacock. If someone tries to sell you newspaper, TV advertising, I'm not saying it doesn't work, because of course it does, but they generally require a lot more spend to get the same results than you get spending the money using attraction marketing. So it's a big difference to your finances and how much further your budget will go, most importantly. So a Moody Tom, the biggest mistake, and this is why it's on its own at the beginning, is this one. And it reminds me of someone particularly, but I won't go into details. It's when you've been having a chat with someone and they've gone on and on and on and on and on about how brilliant they are. And after about 10 minutes without breathing, they say, but anyway, enough about me. What do you think of me? And it's a mistake I see commonly on websites when the website owner talks solely about his business, her business, and how brilliant it is, without referencing it to what the client needs at that moment in time that they've landed on your website. So it's an overriding principle that you need to look at your website through the eyes of, am I making that mistake of just talking about me, or am I getting it right by turning it around and saying, well, actually, I'm talking about my client, they've landed on this page, they need my help, and I'm explaining how my help matches their needs. If you're doing that, great. If you're just talking about you and saying that you were formed in 1832 and you've been around forever, that's no good. You've got to make it all about your client. So let's get on proper, move into more inquiries. So we want you to get more inquiries from your website. And I want you to be able to do this without spending a fortune, because that's the whole idea today. So I want you to make changes that suddenly make a big difference to you. And the first thing to say is, do you make it abundantly clear what it is that you actually do? Do you tell everyone as soon as they land on your website, will they know instantly what you do? And I'm going to give you an example now. I bet they've changed it since I last looked, but so we're going to a firm of accountants and think that we just arrived on the homepage and we don't know them. And thankfully they haven't changed. So I land on their homepage and I've got this big entrance up here. The logo's in the right place, top left-hand side where it should be, but they're not telling me what they do. I've got to go this far down the page before I work out that they are accountants. And it's further on in the page as well, but the point here is, don't assume anything when it comes to your visitor. You cannot assume your visitor will take the time to find out what it is that you do. So do you shout from the rooftops the second I land on your website? Do you shout about what you do? And I've been asked to look at one. Let me just put that in here. Property.com. So, are we making that? Do we shout about what we do? Finding people great places to live since 1995. I'd say we do. I think we're ticking that box. We are telling people exactly what we do and how we help them. We will find you somewhere to live. So that is pretty clear. That passes that test. Thank you for that. I'll come back to this website shortly, Joshua, and there you are. Nice to put a face to the name. Let's look at a couple of others I pulled up. So Compton, Reback, Property Search. I'm on the contact page, so I can't see, but let's go back to the home page. What I would say here is, spell it out. I can see a property search, see sales and lettings, but I would still put, if we're estate agents, I would still put that there. Right underneath the logo, so I don't have to think, yes, it's over here, but also put it right underneath the logo. And let's get to another one, someone else, listers and estate agents, right under the logo, perfect where it needs to be. So on those basis, mostly ticking the box, I think there's room for improvement. But it is so important that you shout out what you do, because as we all know, people are time-starved. They come to your website and they want to get off it and get what they're looking for as quickly as possible. So you've got to hand feed them, spoon feed them, make it absolutely simple and make it abundantly clear what it is that you do so that they know they're in the right place. Otherwise, back they go, back button, off your website, onto your competition. We don't want that happening. Okay. Next thing. What do you want me to do? And this one's even more important. You think about this. You've got someone onto your website, as is happening now every day. Someone's finding your website. You've done the hardest part, which is getting them on there. The next part is the easy part, or it should be. They've gone on, they've typed in, say, they're looking for somewhere to live in London. They land on Outlet. We know that they can find you a home, so that's good. So the next thing is, do you make it really, really easy for me to get in touch? So make our customer smile regularly. Let's click on that. That's backstory. But at the bottom, so we've got an email, we speak directly. The only thing I'd add to that is, which we'll cover later, is give me a link to an inquiry form as well, because you will be amazed how many people love filling in inquiry forms. And like I said, I'll come back to you, but every page of your website has to have an overriding principle, the thing you most want me to do. So if you just want me searching all the time, great, put that at the bottom of every page or link to it on a separate page. And you might think, well, if I've got it on my site on every page, I don't need it. I'll show you later why that is wrong. But so that's one of the sites. Let's go to another one here. And I go to the selling page. So I'm thinking about selling my house. I come down the bottom and I can get a free market appraisal. That's great. The only thing is I'd want that to include different ways of me getting that, because everybody is different. Some will want to phone up, some will want to email, and some will fill in that form. So add the email and the telephone number, and suddenly you'll find you'll increase the number of inquiries from people already finding you. Let's go to the other one. Got a services page here. The only thing I'm told is to sign up for email alerts, and I'm a big fan of email marketing, but I would say if I've come to the main services page on a firm of solicitors and estate agents, what I actually want in the middle of that page is a list of the services, and then a phone number and a contact form, and tell me how I get in touch with you. So it seems obvious, but I can promise you from my own experience of spending a fortune on this, if you do not spell it out for every single one of your audience, exactly what it is that they should do, you will lose business. So that is losing money right now. So change that, fix that, and it can make a dramatic improvement to your business. Next point is when we've got someone on the page, you have 2 minutes at most, and this is based on average visitor time, and I've looked at hundreds of different businesses across all sorts of sectors. You've got 2 minutes at most to get them to get in touch with you. So I've built what I call the 2-minute trust builder to help you do this. The first part is we've got to have a depth of expertise. So you've got to show me that this service I am interested in, you really do have enough information about it to make me think you're the one. So if we go to outlet, there's a lot of information, careers, current vacancies. Going green, we've got a green policy, we've got a charity policy. What about in terms of our expertise? What else could you tell me that would make me think, wow, okay, so outlet property, London estate agents and letting agent. We've got information, we cover these areas, but how many properties have we placed? Have we been featured in the press in any way? Have we got any specialist qualifications? And the other part I'll come back to in a minute. But those sort of external endorsements or depth of content that proves that you really do know your stuff. And I think it's fair to say you do, because there's a lot of information on here. So in terms of depth of content, there's a lot of content there. That's great to see. So your depth of content is vital. And then the other part, which I've just touched on, is depth of is proof of expertise. So are there qualifications? Have you got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of satisfied clients' testimonials? I'm looking for them, can't see an obvious link there. Let's go to this one. Again, we got content, but I haven't perhaps got external endorsements. Previously sold, good. We've got furniture, but I want to see things like qualifications. Have you got any specialist qualifications? Testimonials, and I'd say, these days, should we call them reviews? Because everyone's getting used to reviews on Amazon, on TripAdvisor. So should we have a reviews page? Have we had press coverage, books and articles published, and how many people have we helped? Those sorts of things that just prove that you are experts in the subject you are involved in. So if we go to one of the sites which I run, which is my own business, and you'll see these points are in play because I've tested all of this. So we've got the number of people helped today. We've got feedback down the right-hand side. Why choose us? We should have, which is missing a press page. So that's something that in our recent rollout has been missed, but can easily be fixed, because you're looking for external endorsements. People go, oh, okay, they've been featured on BBC, or they've been interviewed in this publication, and they've got this many people have used their service. So they're all signs that this is right. I'm going to take it to the next stage, and that's the key thing at this point, which I'll come on to later. The primary purpose of your website is not to sell your whole service; it's to get people to get in touch with you, because you will know if you provide a good service, as soon as you get them on the phone, you will then turn them into a client. You'll do everything you need to turn them into one of your new clients. So the primary purpose here is to get people to get on the phone with you and get in touch so you can start a conversation to move them towards being a client. the next stage, and an important one, because you may find that you're already getting people finding your business on Google, but you're not getting as much traffic as you might expect to do so for your type of business. So let's have a look at, I'll just go random now. So let's go and look as we got some estate agents. Let's go for Reading estate agents. I don't think I've got anyone from Reading on, and I'm ignoring the Google AdWords ads down the top at the top on the side, although they are very useful, particularly with the new site extensions and also call-out extensions, which have only come into play in September this month, which are very exciting. But if you manage to get to the top of these pages, and these are what we call organic listings or free, these three here, what you need to do is make me click through, because this is your sales space. So if we look at this, we've got a title along the top, estate agents in Reading, and then we've got Roman's award-winning estate agents in Reading are on hand to help you with your property needs, whether looking to buy or sell. So let's bear that in mind. That's what we've got for them, and where that comes from is their title tag and description tag. And if I look on here, I should be able to find it somewhere. I can't. A quick search. So there we go. There's their title tag, which we saw on the search page. And that is taken directly from the content you have behind your site. So what you need to know is that every title tag and every description tag is different. So let's get description now. And there's the award-winning content we saw. So you will have on your site, even if you don't know how to get there, a title tag and a description tag. And they are so important because they are what Google will use 9 times out of 10 to display in the search results. So if you've given no thought to your title tags and description tags, which by and far is normally the case, I can tell you, you can make a massive improvement to the amount of people getting to your site, even from tomorrow, by going through and making sure each of those title tags and description tags are unique to each page, because if they are, and if you're creative with them, then you will get better results. And I can tell you that in my experience, turning all of these search terms into leading capitals, so leading capital at the front of award and the front of winning and all the way through, makes a big difference to the number of people that click on the ad, and that in turn means you get more people to your site, more people getting in touch with you. So how can you check what your title tags and description tags are? Well, let's use Joshua's site, as he's given me details. There's this tool called Screaming Frog SEO Spider, and I'll give you a link to it on the resources page on the recording in this webinar. And I've run it already on another Maida Vale estate agent I was looking at, and what you can see is it goes through just like Google does, and it puts together all of your title tags and description tags in one place. Now you'll notice that there's a lot of empty title tags, so that's lost, and then you'll notice there's a lot of very similar title tags, and especially when it comes to the name. So it means that every one of these pages has exactly the same title tag, which means that Google won't send any traffic to it, because it thinks it's the same. You'll notice there the description tag's the same as well. So if the title tag and description tag are the same, there's no chance of Google sending traffic to those pages, because it can't tell what the page is about. More importantly, it doesn't really sell to the user to go onto this page. So let's have a quick look at outlookproperty.com. And I've selected just HTML. This is a free resource, so you can see how to get it. I'll put across the title tag there. And if you want me to look at your website, as I said, just type it in, and I'll be glad to do so. So I can see that we've got a lot of different title tags, which is good. I've got some information here. I have got the odd blank ones, which should definitely be fixed, and we've got some blank description tags, which could definitely be fixed, because again, it's a chance for lost traffic. And I've worked on people's title tags and description tags, and literally within 24 hours, a website that's getting no traffic is suddenly getting 5 inquiries a day. It can make that much of a difference, because you're making your title and description tag much more attractive to someone to click on and go through to your ad, through to your website if you are already listed in Google, and therefore you're getting more traffic to your website. And if you make the other changes we're talking about, you then get more inquiries as well. So, and Google suddenly sends you more traffic because every page has a unique description. And this isn't bad at all, Joshua. I mean, there's plenty of information on there. They're different. They all seem, let's do a little flick. So there are some that are in the same streets that are the same. Well, that's going to happen because that's where they are. You can't change that. but there's no overuse of your property name, I don't think. No. We've got outlet a bit, but we're not over the top. So generally good work, worth going through and filling in these blank ones. And using leading capitals can make a dramatic difference to the number of people clicking through. So sell me onto your website. So keyword tricks. If you're thinking, what else can I write about to get people onto my website, then there's a couple of tools I use which are very helpful. One of them is the Screaming Frog tool I just showed you. And what I do with that is put in a competitor's name and go and look at their title tags and description tags, see if they've got any good article titles, things that I should be writing about. So that's a Screaming Frog trick. And the other one is to go to your analytics account and choose a big date range, because what you're looking for is what people have typed in to already find you. And you might say, well, what's the point, Nick, in seeing what people have already found me for? Because I'm already doing well for that. Well, what you'll generally find is that even though they find you, the article they land on doesn't actually answer the question they've typed in. So if you look at all these best ideas here, best estate agents leaflet, I haven't got anything to do with the best estate agents leaflet. So if I wanted to do an article about how do I write the best estate agents leaflet, I can guarantee that A, people are looking for it, but B, a new page would answer that question much better. So your analytics will have gold dust like this contained for you. So go in, go to acquisition, keywords and organic, change the selection at the bottom to more than 10, which it defaults to, which is rather frustrating. And you will find all sorts of gold dust for information you could write about which will attract more traffic. And because you now know how to write a good title tag and description tag, you will get more visitors to your website and you will get more inquiries for your services. So there are two things you can do, Screaming Frog and analytics, two things you can do to to make sure that you get more traffic to your site and you get more inquiries for your services, which is what it's all about. So moving on, sorry, I was just taking a quick drink. The next thing you do is Steve Jobs. Use some of Steve Jobs' magic dust, and he was pretty good marketing. I actually heard Steve Wozniak talk at a conference last week, which was the main reason I went to the conference, because I thought it's probably the only chance of my life I'll get to listen to him. And he is exactly what you would think, a really nice guy that loves his technology and would spend time doing it day in, day out, regardless of the fact if he was paid for it. And that's what he was doing. He was making things and making computers and making things more efficient. And the only way he made any money from it was Steve Jobs would go out and sell what he made, and they'd split the income. And that was the start of Apple. But what Steve Jobs was a great marketing man. And what he realized was something that I now realize, which I should have realized a lot sooner, is that if you give things specific names, they become much more attractive. And separately also, they become something that they can't be compared to your competitors' products because they're unique. So we've had HD for years. Apple don't have HD. They have Retina eye display. Sounds much more sensible, and it relates to me, my body, and so it's not an emoji, Tom. It's not enough about me. What do you think of me? You're saying this is better for your eyes. Great, okay. Apple don't have programs; they have apps, and everybody knows about apps now. And video calls have been around since, well, forever it would seem, but at least the 90s. But they're not very exciting. But when we call on FaceTime, wow, okay, that's amazing. So the point here is that you need to give things a specific name. So on my marketing site, I changed my free inquiry to I don't just have a guide, I have an 8 ways to instantly attract new clients guide. When it was just 8 ways to get more clients, or when it was just a free report, I think as it originally was when I started over 10 years ago, wasn't downloaded much. Change it to something that's got a unique name, and suddenly it's something no one else provides, and more people download it. So in terms of your services, what do you have that's unique? Can you, everyone has a property search. Could it be called fast track property search? Could it be called, hunt your home down, or whatever you could call it? What could it be that's unique? So think about changing that. On this one, free inquiry form, could we give the free inquiry a free legal assessment or free property assessment? So if you give everything a unique name, as Apple do, you will find that it has more take up because the perceived value is that much higher, because suddenly it's a completely unique thing to you. So something you really need to think about is using the Steve Jobs magic dust to make stuff happen. Next thing is, and I talked about this when I was looking at Outlet, was no inquiry form that I can see apart from the property search. And I can tell you, and you should be excited about this because it's an instant way of getting more business. On First Claims, we didn't have a property, we didn't have an inquiry form for a while. As soon as we did, our inquiries increased by about 40 to 50%. But what's more important is 60% of them came through the inquiry form. And that's still the case today. And even though we have an inquiry form that stays on the page on the right-hand side, you'll notice it's called Quick Claim Inquiry because it's a unique name. It's Free Claim Inquiry elsewhere, and that's to test which one works better. But it's a unique name. We have the form there, so you think if they want that form, they can go and find it. Wrong. What did I say? You can't assume your visitor will do anything. You have to make it absolutely simple for them. So if they've taken the time to read this long page, then I give them another link here, and it's also linked here. And they've also got a phone number. I'll come back and tell you what that is later. Now, you might think the form was on the right-hand side here. Why on earth would I bother putting a link anywhere else? Okay, why would I? Silly, isn't it? If I tell you then that 20 to 30% of all our inquiry forms, and remember they're 60% of the traffic, come from this page. Now look at the form. It's ugly, it's long, much more detailed than the short one on the right-hand side, but people want to fill it in. People are happy filling that in. And it's possibly because the nature of our service is a legal one, so they've got a lot of information to put in. But you can't miss that opportunity that some people would love to get in touch with you, but at the moment there's only a phone number, and that's not linked so that mobile devices can call by touching the screen. I will give you that code at the end of this. If you email me, I'll give you the code for that. So as you see it here, excuse me, you see as I hover over the phone number there, it highlights. That's because if I was on a mobile device, I just touch it and it will instantly dial your number. So you can make it much easier, and bear in mind that mobile traffic is increasing all the time. For most of the sites I look at, which cover a range of services, 40% to 50% is now the average. So you've got to do all you can to make it work for mobile callers. So you can link that. Also include a link to an inquiry form and an email inquiry as well to cover all bases, because your clients are all different and they want to inquire first of all in different ways. Once you have that inquiry form, splatter it everywhere. And when I say everywhere, and particularly importantly, is where Amazon puts their Buy Now button. And I'm not a fan of reinventing the wheel. Amazon's done all the testing. Their Buy Now button is in the right-hand side, pretty much where it is on your screen now, for a reason, because that's where it works best. So if someone comes onto your site, they read about what you do, and then they go, yeah, okay, I'll make an inquiry, bang, 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 and off I go. So that is the place to stick it. So once you've got an inquiry form, put it on every page of the site, or put a link to it. You can put make your property search here, and then go off to a bigger form. But that will work as well as having the form, but as well have it on another page too. If you have any questions, keep them coming in, but I'll keep going as we go through. And the next one is pricing question. In my experience, across a range of services, as soon as you put your price on a website, you pretty much instantly lose inquiries because you become a price comparison service. They look at your telephone number, they look at your prices, and they go off and compare you and say, oh, I've looked at Jones & Co. down the road, they'll do it for this much, what will you do it for? Oh, we'll do it for £50 less. So I would be inclined not to put your prices on a website. Certainly if you offer a fixed price service, make a big deal of that. Don't tell them exactly what it is, but then sell the phone call to discuss that fixed price service and tell them the first call is free, but get them on the phone so that you can sell it, because you need to have that conversation to sell your service. And it's one of the things I find most strange that so many businesses try and sell their service on an email. Well, really, this day and age, people are time-starved, and they may say they want their quote on an email, but I can guarantee you, if you make the time to get them on the phone, you will sell far more of your services at a much better price. And the few that say, no, just give me a price, just give it to me by email, well, you don't want them as clients anyway, because they really will be the biggest pains. Whatever service you're providing, and we've had a couple of estate agents on, you're involved in one of someone's biggest transaction they're going to go through in their life. So that deserves a bit of a phone call and a bit of a chat, and obviously you want to get a viewing. But trying to arrange everything by email, get them on the phone as soon as possible, and then they start to get to know you, like you, and trust you, and are much more likely to instruct you. So more inquiries, more clients from your inquiries. And big mistake that a lot of people make, I mentioned, is they try and sell the whole of their service from one page on a website. Impossible. You know, whatever your fees are, a few £100s or a few £1,000s or tens of thousands of pounds, the principle is the same. Sell from the website your first point of contact. So sell getting me on the phone, sell having a conversation with me, and then from that conversation, sell the next stage in the process. And if you offer a fixed fee initial service, sell that first fixed fee and get me in and get me transacting with you, because it's then much easier to get me onto the next stage. If you sell your services by the hour, as a lot of people do, I recommend you test selling the first part as a fixed fee, because it's very hard from going from a free inquiry on a website to suddenly you saying it's £100 an hour, £300 an hour, £500 an hour, but I don't know how much it will cost. Then it is saying, okay, well, the first section costs £350, and then we'll take it from there. And once you've started that relationship, it's much easier to get the client to the next stage and to get them giving you more fees for the rest of the process. So don't try and sell the whole of your service for one page. Try and sell the first contact, and then from there on, sell the next stage. When it comes to call handling, if you're currently doing all of your calls through your main switchboard, think about that. Test this carefully. You know, if you spent money, as you will do, and you know, each lead, that each person that contacts you might be worth, £50, might have cost you £50, £100 to get them to the point of contacting you. If they decide to pick up the phone, they're one of those people that likes to pick up the phone, they phone you and the call's not answered quickly or it's answered badly, you've wasted that money. All of your marketing money has gone down the drain. And the biggest problem I see is people having a really bad first call handling experience. And because we've already said several times, you know, people are starved of time, they won't wait. If they're answered abruptly, they're not put to the right person in the shortest period of time, they will be gone. They're off to your competition. Now, when you think that call handling can be outsourced for as little as £20 to £30 a month for someone to handle all of your calls, take the initial call, and then put it straight through to you, or send you an inquiry form, say you'll get back to them within the hour, that's such a better service to offer. And the person thinks that they're being handled by you. They think they've got a professional organization. More importantly, because the call center, all they do is answer calls from generally new clients, they are trained to be friendly and to be happy. Whereas often the receptionists I meet are trained to get rid of the call as quickly as possible and just pass it off and not ask, what do you want? It's just, who do you want to speak to? Well, what do you mean you don't know? It's a new call. They've got to be handled with kid gloves and treated like royalty, and often they're just dispatched as quickly as possible. So if your call handling is currently diverted to a mobile or going through your office and not answered quickly enough, get a call center, and I'll happily recommend one if you email me after this. But this is a major problem for people, as I say. I want you to make more money from people already phoning you. This is one way where you can improve that overnight. Well worth doing in my books. And the final point is that if you're not following up consistently, you are literally leaving tens or hundreds of thousands of pounds worth on the table. I was talking to someone the other day who follows up I think 7 or 8 times, and you might think that's a lot. He gets more business from the 6th and 7th call than he does from the first 3 or 4. And as long as you ask for permission to follow up, as long as you let them know why you're doing it, so if you get an inquiry, and obviously what you'll be doing is talking through the options. You'll be then, I'm sure, sending an email. If you are really clued up, you will also be putting something in writing, perhaps with a lot of customer reviews and feedback, to show that you are the one that's much better than your competition. And then you should be, 3 days later, picking up the phone and saying, Mr. Jones, just checking you received my letter. Do you have any questions? Then you do what I just did. You stop talking. Because we all have a tendency to talk far too much. So when you ask a question that you need an answer to, don't talk. And your question is, have you got any other questions? Is there anything else you need to know? You're not selling, you're just asking, have you done everything you needed to? That starts the conversation. No, I'm just thinking about it. Often it'll be, oh, well, actually, I was thinking about this. Or it'll be, no, I'm not decided yet. It's between you and another firm. Say, okay, you know where I am if you need me. I'll give you a call. Is that okay if I give you a call in 3 or 4 days' time, just to see where you are then? Yeah, sure. You do that, you keep doing that until you get told yes or no thank you. And if you get the no thank you, great, you get a learning opportunity to see what went wrong and why you weren't chosen. And if the first answer is, oh, you are £50 more than someone else, that's probably not the answer. If you were £1,000 more, maybe. But if it's £50, then, oh, is there anything else? What could we have done better? What would have made you go with us and think that £50 was justified? Then you will normally get the real reasons why you didn't get the business. So following up is absolutely vital to this process. Next part is looking at some software that can help you to get more clients automatically. And this is software you could chuck on your website for very little cost and start getting more and more inquiries on a consistent basis. So I'll go through a couple of options, and live chat is one of them. And the benefits of live chat is that it's live. You get an operator on there and they answer questions. However, and this is a real problem, the biggest problem is, and I know from my own experience of doing this and clients doing it, when you first get live chat, every day you log in, and it requires you to log in, which is part of the problem. So every day you log in and you get live chat and someone asks you a question, you go, great, and you answer it. But after a week or two, you stop logging in. So what you get then instead is you get someone's website up that says, sorry, we're not here at the moment, leave a message. So you've got a live prospect on your website and they're seeing a message telling them you can't be bothered to log into your live chat. So it looks like dead chat. So it looks abysmal. So that's no good. The second thing is you can only deal with one query at a time because there's only one of you there. And the biggest problem is it's not interactive. Live chat sits there, there's a little box, and you have to click it to start it up. Well, people don't click. It's like walking around a shop. Sometimes that person comes up to you, and if they handle it the right way and says, any questions, just fire away, you go, well, actually, I'm looking for this. All right, it's over there. You don't want the one that comes out in your face and says, what do you want? What are you looking for? Right, I'm going to take you and I'm going to get a sale from you. You don't want that one, but soft one works well. Live chat doesn't do that. So I've known that, that's a big problem. I know the idea of live chat works, but I knew for ages that it didn't work. It wasn't working as well as it should. So one of my holidays last year was on this beach, and yes, sadly, those are my feet. And I was thinking about this problem for my own businesses and for my clients' business of all the things we touched on now. A website, you're getting visitors, but you're not getting as many inquiries as you should. Live chat works, but it doesn't because it's not interactive and it's manual and you have to log into it. I was thinking, isn't there a better way of making this happen without any of that problem, without any of that hassle? And so I developed this software. And I have to say, it's working a treat, which is why I'm telling you about it. So the first thing is I mentioned to you, live chat isn't interactive. This software, your website Genie, waits until someone's shown that they're interested in the service you provide, so 30 seconds or so, and then pops up, just ask the softest question. It's phrased this way for a reason. Here to help you, any questions, click yes below. No cost or obligation. They click yes or no. No, disappears. You'll see there's a reactivation button if they want to come back to it. If they click yes, the most important part is now you aren't doing anything at this point. You are sitting at your desk, you're looking after a client, you aren't doing it. This is totally automated. It works without you having to even think about it, and it works for every visitor to your website. If I'd clicked no, it wouldn't come back for another day, so people aren't hounded by it all the time, every single day. It just pops up once a day, says we're here. Do you want to ask us a question? Once that question is asked, question gets posted. Now, even if nothing else happened, that question on that page, and if I'd said, I can't see what your costs are, or I can't work out whether I've got a free inquiry or how I get in touch with you, you would be told the question that was asked and the page they were on. So you can improve the content on that page to answer that question for future visitors. What you'll be pleased to hear is about 80% go on and then give their name, surname, email, and even telephone number. Then you have a live inquiry. So you've gone from having someone on your website that was just about to leave to someone that now is saying, actually, I have got a question. What that then allows you to do is start a conversation, because you get the email from them, telephone number. If it's an email, you say, I can definitely help you with this. It's worth a quick chat. Give me your best number and I'll give you a call. Or if they're giving you the number, you get straight on the phone. You start a conversation, and conversations lead to clients and more clients, and you get more of these inquiries and you get more clients coming through. So that's the website Genie, and the reason it works so well is that if you haven't got, so some of those websites I looked at don't have an inquiry form. If you put your website Genie on there, it fixes that instantly. You have an instant inquiry form that works day in, day out. It increases conversion. I put 30% there. It's actually 300%. This is a AdWords marketing expert, Mike Seddon, and he did a test on a couple of clients' websites and put the Genie on there and found that they improved it by 300%. So it says 30% on that slide. That's my error. I'd rather under-promise and over-deliver. It's increased conversion by up to 300%. So, you know, you can't really say a lot more than that in that it works sometimes as much as 3 times better, as he puts there. And you know, that's exactly why I created it. So it's music to my ears. As I said to you, you don't have to do anything. It works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you don't have to lift a finger. This will keep working for you and will keep generating inquiries from you with no input. So it gets you new inquiries, gets you new clients, gives you information so you can improve the content of your page for future visitors and get more inquiries going in the future. People often say, well, you know, some people don't like pop-ups. Well, let me just show you one thing that would perhaps answer that point. If you see the number in the top here, we've had your website Genie has handled over 9,000 inquiries for clients. So 9,090 people have filled in an inquiry, said, yes, I want to ask a question, I need some help. So clients are very happy filling it in. It works. And if they don't want to press it, they shut it and it goes away. It takes 3 minutes to set up. That's the fastest one. Fastest setup we had is 3 minutes, someone signed up, and within 2 minutes after that, they had their first inquiry. So that's always good. We can add the code for you. There's no risk. There's nothing to lose and much to gain. So that is your website Genie. It's working already across many different service sectors: estate agents, accountants, IFAs, solicitors, consultants, coaches. It's on so many different websites. There's a link there for you, and I'll send you this recording and the mobile phone code. I can give you and everything else as well afterwards. So that if you don't have an inquiry form, this can fix your website overnight. I've got a question coming in. Someone said they tried to fix Genie but didn't work. Yeah, we can help you fix that. Well, 99% of websites that will work on. We have had an issue with people that have tried to fix it onto free website platforms like Wix, which doesn't seem to like anything because it's a really clunky piece of software and so it won't take anything on it. But most websites we can get it working for you within minutes of you setting it up. So it's a very simple, very effective piece of software and get you more inquiries. So we've covered a lot today. I've given you a lot of information which I very much hope you will use this webinar like a checklist. And what I'm going to do is I'll put up a page of notes and a page of notes today. What I'd like you to do is to use the notes as a checklist to go through your site and say, are we making these mistakes? Are we doing things right? What do we need to change to make our website work better? And go through and say, right, we're not doing that. Yes, we are doing that. Try your website Genie because it works and it produces inquiries. If it doesn't work, you can take it off. There's no long-term tie-in. It's very simple. But as I say, go through this checklist. Make sure your mobile numbers are hyperlinked so that people can phone them, or your telephone numbers are hyperlinked so people can phone them. And make your website work better for you. There's lots of clients out there looking for your services. The changes we discussed today can help you. If you have any questions at all, just ping an email off to me and I'll be delighted to help you. I can't see any more questions in the box at the moment, so I'll conclude the webinar now. Thank you very much for your time today. I hope you found it useful. There'll be a very short couple of questions. If you can answer those, I'd be really grateful. Feedback's always very much appreciated. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks very much for your time. All the best for a good day. Cheers.